I really don't want to ruin my cute outfit by putting my mic on it. That's my mindset right now. I'm sorry, but it's true. I need to check my vanity a little bit, maybe. Ugh, so ridiculous to care about. Whatever. I care. It's been at least 5 months since I've done one of these like traditional knitting podcast format videos. If you're new here, this is my knitting and active project basket. And so I'm just going to go through the basket in order of what's on top to what's on the bottom and talk about each of those things. It's a very exciting time. You should really buckle up and prepare yourself for the intense world of knitting. So let's see. The first one was in the Finishing My Whips video that came out. Well, actually, most of these are in the Finishing My Whips video. So this is a pair of red socks that I made using Kudavakika's Smart Heart sock pattern, which is available, I believe, for separate purchase, but I have her book Knit This, and it's included in the book. I've made this pattern like 4 or 5 times. I can't keep track. It's my favorite, just standard sock pattern. I like the feel and the process of working a heel flap and gusset as opposed to German short rows or other sock techniques that I've tried. And I like the 2x2. My only thing with these socks is I'm not 100% sure, but I think I may have made them a little bit too long. And I want to wear them a little bit more and see if that's really going to bother me or not. If I find that it is bothering me, then I'll just unravel the little toe here and redo the toe. It'll take like an hour per sock, which is time, don't get me wrong, but I'm willing to do it if it means the difference between me liking and not liking a pair of socks, because I absolutely adore the color. Next up is this bandana, which is by the Italian knitter, I believe. I don't remember the pattern name off the top of my head, so I will include text that tells you. This was just a simple stash buster. When I was visiting my mom in Minnesota, we went to a store that had like really nice yarn. Harriet and Alice, I talk about it all the time. I've only been to like 3 yarn stores in my life, and that's been my favorite one so far. And when we were there, she ended up buying me actually the yarn to make those socks and a small little ball of Rowan's denim. It's made with recycled denim, so it's like a cottony material. After trying it, I'm glad that we just got that one little ball, because it was expensive. It was $9, and that was on sale. So, you know, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but that's okay. Some people can afford it. Good for them. I'm glad that I tried it out on something like this because it's good for a bandana, but I definitely would not buy a sweater's quantity. I don't think it was worth it in that respect. And I think the price may be more attributed to its environmental claims as opposed to the actual like quality of the material. But I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. It just doesn't feel all that different to me than like a $2 ball of yarn. I like the pattern though, cute. I think it'd be fun to make it again with a drapier yarn. I had made a bandana a while back and I love it and wore it a decent amount over the course of the summer, but I lost it. I couldn't find it at the pool, and so I need to make another one. But this was my like, in the meantime, I want to have a light color bandana option and a dark color bandana option. This is a sweater for my mom. It is the Cumulus blouse by Petite Knit. This one, I had to unravel basically every section of this sweater and redo it. So I've essentially knit this whole sweater twice, and I do not regret that in the slightest. I really am proud of how it came together. It has not been blocked yet, and so the neckline is a little bit tighter than it will end up being, but I want to wait to block it. I'm going to ship it, so by the time you see this, she will have it in her closet or wherever she wants to keep it. I'm really happy with how this one came out, and I want to make one of these for myself. I have some Drops Bell, which is like a linen blend yarn, and I am kind of curious of how this would come together with that type of yarn, because I think the silhouette of the Cumulus blouse would work really well for a very airy summer top, or like spring, fall, I don't know, a transitional top, whatever. Okay, and then this is my other finished object. It is a self-drafted crochet sweater that I just finished, and so I've worn it maybe twice, but I wear it with like a mock neck shirt underneath, and I really like styling it that way. So I have to wait for the weather to get a little bit colder. Right now where I live, it's still in the 70s. and I'm waiting for it to get into like the 50s and 60s to really start wearing this to its core, but I have a feeling I'm gonna wear this a lot over the course of the winter. I'm kind of surprised that I don't have more finished objects to show you. Did I miss anything? Have I really not completed that many projects? But again, you'll see I'm working on stuff that takes like a while, so it is what it is. Also, why am I being like this? I don't need to produce massive amounts of knit things all the time. We're really in just the flow of consciousness. Can you tell there's no planning to these videos? It's great. That would be madness. I don't have anything to show you for these, but I do have 3 unraveled objects. So 2 of them are related. So one is a high neckline sweater vest that I was working on, and another was a V-neck sweater vest that I was working on, both of which were done using Drops Melody, and neither of which worked out. I was just getting too frustrated by those projects. They weren't fitting the way I wanted to. I found that the yarn was itchier than I expected, and I have a ton of it in a bunch of different colors. So at this point, I don't really know what to do with that yarn. My options are get rid of it or try one more time. I figure if it's a little itchier, then my best bet would be trying to make something kind of jacket-esque out of it, where I'm ensuring that I'm always wearing something underneath and it's not close to the neck. So that could be worth an attempt, something designed to be outerwear, because then the itchiness wouldn't really bother me as much. I think I'll give that a try. I'll give it a fair shot. And if it doesn't work out, then at that point, it's just like, okay, this yarn just isn't for me. Drops Melody, I think, is a great mohair alternative. And I know people that use it and love it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it from a quality perspective. It's just sensory-wise, it doesn't work for me as much as I really, really want it to. But maybe it'll work as outerwear, fingers crossed. The other thing that I unraveled is the Ingrid sweater that I had started. I'd made very little progress on it, but I just wasn't feeling the Ingrid sweater. Like, it just wasn't a project that I wanted to work on, and I couldn't, you know, it just wasn't working. So I need to attempt something else with that yarn. I'm not against doing the Ingrid sweater or like attempting it again. I think it's, honestly, it's a cute, basic design. I just was not feeling it. Now on to whips, the most exciting part to me, because it's like all the things I'm currently working on. Okay, first one, this is the good one. We have what I think I'm gonna call the big hug sweater. No, I'm not making a pattern, but if I self-draft something, even if you follow a pattern, you have every right to name your sweaters, and I love naming my sweaters. So this, I think I'm gonna call it the big hug sweater, and I am very excited about this. It's so soft. I can't even. It's so soft. I just ran out of yarn, so I need to buy more. I'm so sad. This was an attempt to use up a bunch of yarn that I already had. So I had, was it Drops Extra Fine Merino, which is a superwash merino, which had a bunch on hand, so I wanted to use it up, and now I guess I need to buy some more. Holding that double with Drops Alpaca Boucle, both in their like whitest color available. It's the combination of holding these two together. It's so soft and squishy. I cannot wait to start wearing this, like, honestly. And I don't really make oversized sweaters all that often because I'm lazy and that requires so much effort. And I also don't knit anything with larger needles. So this is definitely a unique sweater, and it's me testing the waters to see, really, should I be making like huge oversized cozy curl up on the couch sweaters? And I can't wait to dip my toes into that and start wearing it quite a bit and seeing if I like it. I love the chunky collar. I am basing it off of an image I found on Pinterest. I'll see if I can find the source, but so far I have had no luck trying to find who actually posted that, even doing a reverse image search, because so many people have reposted it, so it's impossible to find the source. I am using, I think 8mm, yeah, an 8mm needle size to work this up, and it's given me like a nice loose gauge without being see-through. I'm just so happy with this. I hope it comes together. This is a fun project. I need to order more yarn, but I do want to have it done by the end of the year because I really want to wear it this winter. Next up, we have a project that I hope you have seen. I really hope that I finish this in time. I want to have this done. I may have bitten off more than I can chew with this project. If I've managed to finish the video before this, you will have seen the full video by now, so you will see how it works out, and hopefully I'm happy about it. But right now, what I'm working on is a self-drafted granny square held together with every stitch marker I own sweater. I don't know who's been spreading lies saying that crochet is faster than knitting, because you know what? I can't. There's no way. Each of these granny squares takes me 45 minutes to an hour to make. Is that not... Sorry, I should be showing you this side. These are not currently in any particular order. I just grouped them together for sizing, so I'll probably rearrange the order of where these are. But it takes me forever. And I need to make like over 100 of these, I think. So this is gonna take me so long to make. I'm so over making granny squares, but I've committed to this. I want it in my wardrobe. I love the yarn. I think it's like beautiful and autumnal. And I'm hoping it comes out nicely and I will get a lot of wear out of it. That is the hope. So this is no longer a process crochet project for me, and it is all about the finished object. It's mostly just like, wow, this is taking so much longer than I expected, and it's good for me to practice patience like that. But if you wanted to see more details on that, check out the video that I really hope I have finished by now. I don't really want to talk more about that because it's just... All right, next up, we have a project that I have made a very small amount of progress on, but I have made progress, and I think that's the important part. This is the Arctic Lights sweater by Veronica Lindberg, also known as Kudavakika. Gosh, that name is so fun to say. I know it's not her name, it's based on her nickname, but Kudavakika, it's so fun to say. I want to share my honest opinion about this. I think I love it, but I'm tentatively scared that it's not going to work out because I took a chance on this. It was designed for like a merino mohair combo of yarn, and instead I am using a merino cotton blend because I know if I was going to wear a sweater like this, if I was going to make a sweater like this, I would want it to be something that I can wear all the time and something I'm not going to overheat in like crazy. And I also can't do mohair. It makes my eyes all puffy. So here we are with the cotton merino blend, and I am just not sure of how this is gonna feel once it's done. I feel like it could be great, but I'm not convinced yet. It might be a little bit too thick of a material. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. That's the thing for me. Like, it's such an unknown at this moment, and that's why right now I'm back into this project and I'm trying to push a little bit to get to the point of separating for sleeves and doing a little bit of the body, because at that point I will have a much better feel of, is this going to work out or is it not? I just find it incredibly hard to motivate for a project when I don't know 100% like, yes, this is going to work out great. It's scary. It's scary to invest so much time and energy into a project knowing that it might not work out. But that being said, this is a stunning pattern, and if it works out, this will get worn every day, ? If this doesn't work out, I will be knitting this again. I want this pattern. I want a sweater, an Arctic Lights sweater. I need one. It's not a need, it's a want, but I need one. I am also hoping to have this done by the end of the year, but fingers crossed, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm working on this just like 2 rows every day, I think, right now, because I'm at the yoke part and I'm like, I got like 10 rows left on the yoke, and it just takes a long time to go through the whole yoke. And I'm also working on all these other massive projects at the same time. What a time to be alive. And then my easy project right now is a Sophie scarf that I'm working on. Wow, there's lots of petite knit patterns being thrown around. In this video, I don't really knit that many petite knit patterns, I swear. It just so happens that, whatever, I'm not getting into this. I don't need to justify this. I'm making a Sophie scarf, okay? Because I already had the pattern, I already made one, and I like wear it all the time as like a head like wraparound, which I think is like really cute the way that it like wraps around and ties up. So I am making a second, oh, here it is. Haha. This is my first one. When it's not quite cold enough for a hat, but I want a little something covering my ears. And I also wear it a lot in the summer too, just when I'm having a bad hair day. Throw my hair up in a messy bun, put this around. It's like a cute little knit bandana situation. So I'm making another one. I'm making it in red because I have several articles of clothing that this color would go really cute with. Before we move on to the rest of the knitting and crochet related content, we're just gonna take a little tangent down sewing lane. So behind me is a finished object I've talked about before. I have a whole video explaining it. It's a miniature duvet cover. I made the duvet cover, but there is a miniature duvet insert in here as well. And it is like the coziest thing. It's like my new favorite blanket. Mary, when she's not sleeping in her little bowl, she's sleeping on this. She is in love with this blanket, and I really appreciate that validation from my cat. I appreciate your validation too, Pippin. So I took mistakes that I made with that project, which I'm still in love with, mistakes and all. Yes. And I decided to attempt something much bigger. So I am working on a larger than a king size duvet blanket for my bedroom. So me and my husband have a king size duvet that's been extended by, how much has it been extended? 4 feet maybe? It's 4 feet wider than a king size duvet. So it's big and it's taken its time, but I'm working on a scrappy checker duvet quilt cover. And I'm having a great time. This is probably my favorite, like, rectangle that I've made so far. I just love the bright red. Okay, for some weird reason, my phone decided to stop recording. I have no idea why, because I have plenty of storage. I'm having I'll be honest. I'm having a good time seeing this come together. Why do I keep starting these really long projects back to back or at the same time? I feel like the past 2 months have just been me working on this and working on my granny square crochet sweater and not much else. So I've been going kind of crazy, being like, okay, I need to finish things more quickly. This is too slow. And I'm only halfway done and these take forever. This one, I don't know how long it's gonna last because normally when you do this technique, you're quilting. And so you're sewing this in place along with some batting and some other layers, which I am not doing for this. Pippin, we do not bite when we want attention, okay? She just gives like gentle little love bites. She's not trying to hurt me or anything, but it's still annoying. There. This will be your punishment. So anyways, I can't. She deserves it. She bit me. This seems like a fair punishment. Anyways, so like the backing, like it's not, maybe I'll sew it down in place and make it a little bit more structurally sound. I'll be doing some research. I'll be doing a little bit of research into what will make this a little bit more structurally sound, but I'm okay with the idea of it not lasting forever. But in future projects for the bedroom, for the duvet, I would like to make the next one a little bit simpler. So it's not a 6-month project, but instead is more like a 1-month project. And I would like to do French seaming on everything. So it just is like industrial in strength. So that's that one. And then my other 2 sewing finished objects are sleeping shorts in like a boxer short style. They're so fun. I love them. These fit me. Okay, here's the story from the beginning. I have different like sleeping shorts and boxer shorts, but they never quite fit me right. So I took apart a pair of Batman boxers that I had, seam ripped everything, tried to keep them as intact as possible, and then took down little notes of what dimensions should I change. I don't know if you can even see this, but I Sharpied onto the sides here, increased by 1 inch on each of the sides, and then on the top increased by 2 inches to make it extra high-waisted. So yeah, I have all the pieces and I've just been using them as a reference for cutting out pieces to make other boxer shorts. And I made 1 pair in 1 night. It took maybe 3 hours to sew these together while watching Hocus Pocus. And it's using extra fabric that I had from that big bedroom quilt that I've been working on. So I personally love, I'm gonna try to see if I can find, yeah. I love that I'm gonna match my duvet cover with my pajama shorts. These are by far the most comfortable shorts I have ever worn. They fit me perfectly, exactly the way I want them to, and I love the little like boxer flap detail that you can hardly see in the front. I think it's so cute, and they're just so fun, and the fabric is very me. Like if you know me, this is a very me fabric to be utilizing. So I am incredibly happy with how those came together. I like my little picnic ones. This is the first time I've done a sewing project where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can actually make something wearable that will last that I like. I have tried to make pants and shorts in the past and they have just never worked out quite the way I want them to. And they're never something that I would buy in a store. Like if I walked into a store and I found the pair of pants that I had made, I would not buy them. These I would buy. I would absolutely buy these if I saw them in a store. And the key difference is two things. One, all French seams. Every single seam in here is fully encased. It's not going anywhere. I love French seams now. I will never, ever do a wearable object without French seams. Obsessed now. I mean, I should look into other options, but they're my favorite. And then the other thing that I would do is when I did an elastic waistband, I would just create like a tube and put the elastic in it. When I was looking at a pair of like elastic pants that I own, I was like, well, they sew it down, so I should probably try sewing it down as well. Because the issue with just putting the elastic in that little tube you create is it always like folds up inside and it gets all gnarly and it never sits quite right. And so on this pair, I sewed it down in 3 places. Why am I putting my fingers up? You know what 3 looks like. I did it at the bottom and then 2 in the middle to create this waistband. And now it fits perfectly. It looks a lot more professional in my opinion. And it's perfect. I love them. I love them so much. I'm so happy with how these came together. And then I sewed these ones in 4 different places, which is really hard to see with the gingham here. I'm so happy with these. And this is giving me confidence to try and explore different sewing projects. Okay, that is it for the sewing tangent. Thank you for indulging me. Okay, the last thing in the world of knitting and crochet that I really have to talk about is normally this is the part where people do their acquisitions. I don't want to promote, like you don't need motivation to be buying anything. You really don't. You don't need me to convince you to buy another thing. There are plenty of people out there that do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with people doing acquisitions and videos. I think it's great and I get a lot of information from it, but it's not something that I feel entirely comfortable doing. I also really am uncomfortable with the idea of someone buying something because I recommended it, because I fear like, well, if they don't like it or it didn't work out for them, I don't want them to blame me for that. So I'm very insecure about me sharing yarn acquisitions. That being said, there is one yarn acquisition that I've made recently that I did want to talk about because it incorporates into a knitting plan. So I was very, very kindly gifted a knitting pattern by a viewer. Thank you, by the way. I am really excited about this one. I had not seen that pattern at all, and now looking at it, I'm very intrigued. Oh, the pattern is the Penta Pullover by James N. Watts, which if you don't know, he does have a YouTube channel and he's so funny. I love it. This is a wildly unique pattern, and it definitely is a little bit out of my comfort zone because it requires you being fun with color. And I am always like so terrified with color. You can knit this with any yarn, but I think the pattern is really, it's at its best when you're using a faded yarn. And I have yet to come across a faded yarn that I really like. So I went on to Ravelry and looked through the different projects that people have done, trying to get an idea of what yarn would I do for this. And I found one that I was absolutely in love with. This person crushed it. And I needed to know what yarn they used because that's the most beautiful fade I've ever seen in my entire life. So I messaged the person on Ravelry and asked them what kind of yarn they use, and it is an Italian brand of yarn. And I am very lucky that in Seattle, Washington, there is a yarn store that sells that yarn and they were able to ship it to me. So that was very exciting. So here's the yarn. It is the Bozzolo. There's no way I'm saying that correctly. Bozzolo yarn, and it's so soft. It's 100% cotton, but look at those colors. Oh my gosh. Aren't they just so fun? So I think I bought 4 of these and there's 100 grams in each one. I might need to buy more, we'll see, because I have not decided yet if I want to make the t-shirt version, which I think is like the main version, or if I want to make it into a full sweater. This is so soft. I'm sorry. I'm just like touching this in such a weird way. Did I say Penta Pullover? It's Penta Pillar. I'm so sorry. I ended up looking this up on Ravelry just now because I wanted to like visualize what I was just talking to you about. Looking through the projects for this specific design is absolutely fascinating to me because every single person did different colors and different styles. Oh my gosh, this person, look at how cute. They did little color work, like little color work cherries. on theirs. That's so cute. There were so many versions that I actually really loved, and it took a lot of my anxieties away of like, I don't know, is this something that I would love? Maybe. Editing me is feeling very lazy, so we're just gonna show you on the iPad. But this is another version that I saw that I absolutely fell in love with because it's all neutrals, which is very, very me thing to do, with a like funfetti style speckled yarn, which again is like my favorite. Absolute favorite. This was another version that I really liked, but these are not my colors and they used mohair, so I can't make it with that yarn, but that's okay. I've never gone on Ravelry and seen what someone did and been like, yes, I want to copy exactly and find out what yarn they use. This is the first time that's ever happened, and I'm so glad that that person even messaged me back. That was so kind of them. I'm so excited that I was able to actually order the yarn. That's everything. That was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot. I don't have anything more to say about that. Bye.